perhaps not quite as devastating as initially thought, but still very scary.
I think the problem is that it's still nighttime,
right,
and people haven't woken up to see the true ferocity of it. And another thing we talked about yesterday, these early warnings, so many people have been evacuated, and that has saved so many lives. These are some of the pictures that we've seen from overnight. As I said, when people wake up in the true daylight, we see the huge enormity of it. But this is what happened. So it was a Category 5 hurricane, the highest in the middle of the sea here. And as it made its way towards the coast, it made landfall at 1:30 this morning, UK time, as a Category 3, still a major hurricane with winds of 120 miles an hour. Worth pointing out, they're sustained winds. That was sort of the calm level. It then peaked above that to at least 150 miles an hour in the gust and then made its way inland. But people were saying about its calling card, tornadoes. So we have these incredible images of some tornadoes and waterspouts out in the ocean. Now, these tornadoes were the precursor for the hurricane arriving. Now, in Florida, they issued 130 warnings for tornadoes, which is more than they have ever issued in one day in Florida. And you can see here, after the tornadoes came the heavy rainfall, this radar loop showing what is happening right now. We had record rainfall totals, another record being broken. Some areas seeing 2 months worth of rainfall in just an hour. That's once in a 1,000-year return period. We also talked yesterday about the storm surge. These are some of the images of what we saw. This is huge amounts of water being sucked from the ocean, drawn inland, with places completely submerged. So at the moment, it is a Category 1 hurricane. It is still on the east coast of Florida, still bringing torrential rainfall to so many people. And
being downgraded, but from those pictures and the footage, it's still causing devastation.
Terrifying.
yeah, so a storm, when it's out in the ocean, has energy to drive it. As soon as it reaches the land, it loses its energy. It's ripping through trees, ripping through houses, bringing down trees as easy as it would just a matchstick. But we've seen it moving its way through. It's lost its energy as we thought it would, but it still is a hurricane inland. 85-mile-an-hour sustained winds, 100-mile-an-hour gusts. And we know that Disney World has been closed today. It's only the 9th time that Disney World has been closed from a hurricane in their 53-year history. And you can see the huge amounts of rain yesterday from the arrival of the storm, before it arrived, and reports that they were taking down turrets and parts of the castle to make sure that it was protected. We obviously heard yesterday about people who didn't want to evacuate. They wanted to stay with their properties, and there were cars from police officers heading down roads saying, if you stay at home, you need to write your name on your arm so we can identify you, and a phone number for your next of kin. This actually happened yesterday, and I was thinking to myself, why are people not leaving? People can't leave because they can't afford to. They have nowhere else to go. Displacement is massive. In Hurricane Katrina, 1.5 million people were displaced. 400,000 never returned home. And it's not just people they're worried about. There were many people who were writing their names on horses as well, because they were so worried when the storm passed whether they'll be able to find them again. So it is clearing away from the East Coast. But as people wake up, they're going to be seeing the true ferocity of this storm. But thank goodness for the early warning yesterday.
Thank goodness
Laura,
it wasn't
thank
what we
you.
thought it was going to be.
As Laura was just saying, their families have been displaced by Hurricane Milton, and Donna Francis, who moved from the UK to Florida's west coast 3 years ago, was forced to evacuate from her beachside home earlier this week.
Donna is now taking refuge at a hotel in Orlando with her husband Dan, 2 teenage sons and their 2 cats. They join us now. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you tell us, what's the mood like now in Orlando?
Well, we went for dinner last night in the hotel bar, and actually it was weirdly energetic, but it had this kind of nervousness about it. But the good thing is there's a lot of dogs and animals here, so that kind of seems to be in the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you? When did you decide to leave, Donna? And have you got any idea what state your home will be in at the moment, or when you get back?
We decided to leave on Monday. We were originally going to go on Tuesday, but we were worried about the traffic because there were 500,000 people leaving our county alone at the same time. So it took us 5 hours. It should have taken us like 1.5, 2 hours. It took us 5 hours to get there. And And sorry, I can't remember your other question.
Well, your home, that you've left your home, of course, that you've been in for 3 years. Have you got any idea? I mean, have you got cameras that you can look at to see how it's coping at the moment? Anything online, or have you got any idea what might be going on, what state it might be in when you get back?
We turned our electric off before we left, so we can't see any cameras. We don't know what we're going back to. We have heard from local media that there hasn't been a storm surge. Actually, the water was pulled out from the bay because of the way the hurricane landed in that area. But we are worried about the wind, and also because there was a lot of debris on the road and in our drive because of the previous Hurricane Helene, which hit 2 weeks ago.
And has the hurricane hit where you are yet?
So in Orlando, it's been going on overnight. In fact, I was looking out of the window, half an hour ago?
Yeah.
And there was like just loads of transformers that were blowing, and the sky was just lighting up blue because of all the electricity.
So you can see the drama of the electricity blowing as the wind's going through and causing issues there.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, you all seem very calm, Dan. I mean, as Dad, how are you feeling? You know, you've got the boys safe, obviously. It's great for Billy because school's been cancelled for a bit, so you can enjoy moments like that. But it's the reality of this is a scary thing, isn't it?
It is, yes. I mean, as Donna said, we've just gone through the other Hurricane Helene, and we had 4.5 feet of water in the house throughout. So. We've just had to rip out the basement area, and rip out all the drywall. So then we were just finishing that up, and then this one came. So then we did what we did, what we could do, and then we just had to evacuate. So we just don't know what we're going to go back to.
We also lost a car in the previous hurricane.
Goodness me.
Wow.
And still glad that you moved out there?
Yes. Absolutely love it here.
Life is good at the beach until it isn't.
Yeah, of course. Well, look, stay safe. Thank you for joining us this morning. Billy, we don't usually let Spurs shirts on the show as a West Ham fan. But
He did that for you, Ben.
I bet he did. I bet he did. I can feel it all the way from over there. But thank you for joining us, and fingers crossed when you get back to the home, it's not as bad as it's been predicted. It's good to see you all.
Yes, stay safe. Thank you.
God, the idea that they lost their car, they had 4 feet of water just 2 weeks ago. They've got to go back. Oh.
All the problems we have here, I suggest your viewers just pause and think. They're not
Yes.
having to sit in a hotel room with their 2 cats and their car's gone.
Yeah,
Really.
or seeing those kind of big kind of tornadoes approaching you is just
Absolutely
terrifying.
No idea what they're going to go home to.
No.
There might be nothing
No, that is
left.
great. Wish
Oh,
them well.
hello. We'll get more. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.